Hello. Thank you for being with me today. I'm coming from the property of the parsonage on the edge of the woods behind me. Um, and for today's message, I tried to find a serene spot. It's about 50 degrees out here, and there's a gentle breeze. Where I am, I see a lot of grass and mud, and I also see some remnants of snow. I'm kind of at a loss this week to share a message with you. In the face of Lent, in the face of trying to create meaningful worship, meaningful prayer services in our churches, sitting around a circle and just praying together, planning with other clergy in the area, vigils and Easter sunrise services, and just working together. Today, I sat in on a meeting with the Kennebunk clergy, and we heard from a woman that works with and directs the efforts of Habitat for Humanity, and they're building three new projects, and they were telling us how the churches could get involved and how individuals could get involved. But in the face of all of this planning and worship and the day to day of the church, we face the daily reports of invasion of Ukraine, of devastating war, of a violation of freedoms and humanity, bombs that take out entire areas, bombs that just remove the oxygen from the area and just leave to something devastating. Today, I heard of a bomb that it could strike on one side of the building and kill all the people on the other side of the building. People are being displaced. There was a story that Ukrainian mothers were, carrying their children, trying to get them to safety, and the Polish mothers, the mothers of Poland, were thankfully leaving them strollers, leaving the Ukrainian mothers strollers so that they could at least have those. But can you imagine just being displaced from your home? Your home has burnt behind you, it has been leveled to the ground. The area that you live in is just simply unsafe. You cannot occupy that space. So you must flee. This is the plight of the refugee. This is the plight of someone facing war. I'm encouraged by the stories of resistance, of people that have nothing that's going to fight this war machine, but they stand up. One woman was seen in a video confronting a soldier and basically telling the soldier to get off the land, that they were an invader, that they were not wanted, and just being defiant to the soldier and just saying, "We don't want you here. Who are you as a person?" These are the scenes we're all seeing. We see stories of families holding young children being displaced and worrying what their future holds. Um, and in the face of this, we find ourselves within Lent, trying to seek after God, trying to be repentive of spirit, to bring that which blocks us from a fuller relationship with God to God and ask for forgiveness. Maybe it's greed. Maybe it's holding on to anger. Maybe it's creating confusion in dialogue. Maybe it is uh, any number of things that block us from God. And we're trying to worship, we're trying to be faithful and to say to God, you matter in our lives. Be present with us through the power of the Holy Spirit. We're trying to study scripture where we're sitting around circles and praying together for the people in Ukraine, for the people in our church, for our friends, our families, and strangers. In this time of Lent, perhaps that's all we can do. We can look up those things that bring aid to areas of the world that are in war and in strife. We can donate through UMCOR. We can donate through many different websites that for humanitarian relief, disaster relief. We can be a voice in the community that stresses that God would want us to work as people of peace and to be restorers of that which is broken, to be restorers um, of the vessel that's broken and to put it together and to mend it. You know, Jesus speaks of wanting to be the mother hen that watches over the brood, the people of Israel, watching over them and protecting them and caring for them and nurturing them, just like a mother hen would do to their for their chicks. And Jesus says, "You wouldn't let me do it. You wouldn't let me do it, Israel. You wouldn't let me be this thing. In fact, you've killed the prophets. You've killed the messengers that have come to you." And we all know that Jesus is facing death on the cross in his passion. And we know we hold on to the resurrection hope and to that promise. But we can take that example from Jesus that he too felt frustrated in his life. How am I being effective? How am I not being allowed to do what I would like to do on behalf of humanity? That's his lament. Perhaps this message today is finding you extremely frustrated. What can I do in this world? I'm one person. What can I do to help? I can't fight the aggressor. I can't restore peace in an area of Ukraine. I don't know how to help. I don't know how to help even in my local community. And it is frustrating, but I think to have hope that as people of faith, we're constantly striving to do these things. We're constantly striving to emulate God in the world, emulate the reality that is Christ in the world. We are trying to be faithful followers of a loving and a gracious God. We try in our actions, our words, our deeds, our letters to the editor, our um, our conversations with friends and family and others, um, that we are people that yearn for peace. We yearn to be healers in a hurting world. We yearn to be faithful people that help others who are vulnerable, who are in need, who are in pain, to end suffering. How do we end suffering? That is a huge question that the church needs to answer. How do we engage ourselves? I want you to think of a time in the church in your life. Perhaps it wasn't even one of our churches, perhaps it was a church in your past. When did you feel most passionate about something that particular church was doing? And I don't mean like just singing in the choir. I don't mean, when there were 70 people, I felt really energized. No, what was the thing that kept you coming back to church? What were you passionate about? Were you helping in an area of ministry? Were you feeling a level of spiritual growth because you are participating in studies or in prayer groups or in outreach or in nurturing efforts? And once you identify this time in your life where you were truly felt fulfilled within the church life, and you felt like you were growing in your spirit and growing closer in your relationship to God, then we ask ourselves the questions: what is it we want to create in our churches? What are the things we need to do to get that feeling back? I think we're suffering from apathy. We're suffering from we just come into the church and it's the same old, and we've just become complacent. I think COVID has helped with that. I think the vacuum that we've experienced with people being not participating and leaving and moving from the area and just staying in their homes. All of this has contributed to this feeling of apathy. But what was it in your life in the church that you were passionate about? And how do you rekindle that spark? How do you create that flame? Because if you create that flame for yourself, no doubt others will be attracted by that. So I'm meeting with the Kennebunk clergy today, and we're talking about having a prayer vigil that is based out of the UU Church in a couple of weeks, perhaps, about a vigil for the Ukrainian people and efforts. How do we do that? You know, did you participate in events like that in your past that brought you much? Brought you wellness, brought you a feeling that you were connected to God and others. We're talking about a sunrise service that I'll be conducting at about 5:50 on Easter morning. The clergy basically said that they don't usually set a time. They try to be really close to sunrise. And on Easter morning, the sunrise is at 5:58 a.m. So I'm going to be on the beach in Kennebunk, opposite the Narragansett, at 5:50, and we're gonna watch the sun come up, and we're gonna have prayers, and we are, gonna shout, "He is risen!" Right? And we're gonna celebrate the resurrection hope. Today, I want to be here for you. Are you feeling discouraged? Are you feeling tired and worn out? Are you feeling complacent? Are you feeling separated from a loving and a gracious God? Are you feeling separated from the community of faith that you once were part of? If so, I encourage you to have hope and to dig deep within yourself to find your passion again for your community, for the church, for your activity and engagement with life. There is so much need out there. We're trying to reach out to these refugees that are in the area that have come from Africa and these areas, and they need our help. And we're trying to work with town officials to do that. On March 15th, we're going to stand outside Southern Maine Healthcare and hold our phones up, hold up the light to support our hospital workers and tell them that we care, to be a presence. We talked about that in the Kennebunk clergy group today too. So today I just ask you to delve deep in this Lenten time and reflect on a time in your life where you felt fulfilled in the community, in the church, where you were doing something that mattered, something that was relevant, something that you wanted to be engaged in, not out of obligation, but out of your desire to do that thing, to be engaged in that activity. And it brought you happiness, it brought you fulfillment, it brought you deeper into your faith. It's a real big question. It's a real big question. And I want you to take the image with you of Jesus being kind of this mother hen that kind of wants to be a protector, wants to be a nurturer, wants to be a sustainer, wants to give you the energy to go on, wants to protect you and watch over you. As a mother hen would watch over her brood, would watch over her chicks, and safeguard them, to lean into your relationship with God, to ask God in, to look around at creation and see the beauty that creation is, the balance. Perhaps to focus on that and not all the pain and the suffering in the world. What I mean by that is we have to look at the pain and suffering in the world. But to do that, we must regain strength for ourselves. We have to find ways to regain our energy, to fill our tank up so that we have the energy to serve. What activities in your life did you do to replenish your energies so that you could do the work that you were called to do? I thank you for listening to this message today. I am in prayer um, for you and for our churches. Um, I am in prayer for the cessation of aggression in Ukraine. I am in prayer that our churches and the church people become passionate about something that they want to engage in. I pray that we become better healers, that we become better people that are able to end suffering, people that are better able to articulate their voice in issues such as racism and domestic violence and addiction. So today I just join with you as we all continue to engage in this deep reflection of who we are as people, who we are as people of faith, who we are as members of a community of faith, a church, and who we are as fathers, and sons, and brothers. Thank you for listening to me today. You're all a blessing. Um, I hope that you have had wonderful experiences in this in Lenten time. I encourage you to participate in our worship, to call someone up, to get them into the worship services, to get them on Zoom, to come to our prayer services that are in person, just to be with us on that day. So I pray for that, and I'm praying for all of us. And God bless and have a wonderful week. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.